In this video, we're going to look at how to adjust the volume level in audio tracks in a WeVideo project. So in this project, we have the photograph of my grandfather's store with my dad, and we also have two audio tracks. We have a piece of music, which is Rob Coslow's Summer Garden, and you can see the title if you just put your mouse over this track. And underneath you can see that this is audio narration named Robin's Market Yeti, and that's Yeti is the name of the microphone that I use to record this narration. And the problem is that you can look at the waveforms in my narration and see that they're uniformly pretty high. And in the music track, they're high in certain places, not across the board, but in this area here and in this area here toward the end, they're pretty high and they're likely to interfere with my narration. So let's press the play button and listen to see what that sounds like. Notice some familiar and not so familiar items in the picture that were for sale in this store. So I think you can hear that the music is loud and it interferes with my narration, and it would be better if we brought the music level down. So the easy way to do this in WeVideo is to go over to the slider bar and pull that to the left. Its default setting is at 100, and so let's go down to 26 and then scroll back and listen again and see if that makes a difference. I noticed some familiar and not so familiar items in the picture that were for sale in this store. So that's better, but I'll have to experiment, and as will you, with your particular music. You may want it to go down to maybe 14 or 12 or 10 to see what that sounds like, just to hit the right combination of background music and audio narration. I noticed some familiar and not so familiar items in the picture that were for sale in this store. So I kind of like that, and generally my feeling is that background music should be in the background, and it should be added to insert a layer of warmth or texture to the narration, but it should not be so loud that it interferes with what's being said or competes for the viewer's attention. So you'll have to explore what to do, where to set that slider for music tracks that you include in your WeVideo project. Now, one or two other things that are important to remember also is with this music, like I said early on, and let's click there, it's not very loud. Behind the counter on the left is my grandfather, wearing an apron in his grocery store in Virginia named Robin's Market. Well, that's actually already down to like where I said it earlier, but if we go back to where it was at about 100 and listen there, grocery. The man next to him is a store. It's still a little bit louder, but it may not be because it's lower in volume when the music was recorded. What you may want to do instead of reducing the volume level of the entire clip is selectively lower pieces of volume. So right here is where we see that it starts to get loud. You can go over to the Actions button and show levels and click to put in some keyframes, and then we'll bring down maybe another keyframe. We'll click there, and then what you could do is we'd have to do one more here. And remember, if you put in keyframes in the wrong location, decide you don't want them any longer, you can just double click and there they are gone. But I do want that one. So what I could do here is I could bring down the level of this part of the music track that way. And so you can leave this high and bring this down and then go back up again toward the end. Of course, we want this music probably to fade out, so we wouldn't want it to go up at the end. We'd probably want it to go down at the end. But again, you can experiment with this technique with your own audio. And one final thing to keep in mind is sometimes when people record audio narration with a microphone or with another recording device, the audio volume may not be quite as loud as you want. So if that's the case, you can go in the opposite direction and you can increase the volume level on your narration. So you should experiment with that. You have to be careful that you don't do it too much to cause any kind of distortion, but that may really help boost the volume of narration that's not recorded quite loud enough. So these are some good settings to be aware of and to explore in WeVideo when you're working with narration and music tracks.